You're welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to take you through the process of drafting this masterpiece by Precious Apparel. So it's a combination of a funnel corset, an overbust corset with a conical effect. So if you find this interesting, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. So to start with, I have my starting line, and on this my starting line I'm going to mark my neck width. I'm using 3 inches by 3 inches. So I'm going to use a curve to connect the neck thread to the neck width. So as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to take my shoulder measurements divided by 2, which is 7.5 inches. Then on this particular place, I'm going to step down by 1 inch. Then if you are a plus size, maybe from bust 40 upwards, you can come down by 1.5 inches, but 1 inch is enough for me for bust 36 or 40 down, below 40 rather. So I'm going to connect to the neck width, and as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to divide my bust circumference by 6 and add 1.5 inches to it. So when I do that, my measurement is 7.5, so I'll mark 7.5. Then I'm going to bring down whatever measurement I have here down to this side. So this is where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this line, then extend it. Then you need your across measurement. Okay, so to get your across measurement, you are going to divide your bust circumference by 4 and add 1 inch to it for the front. Then for the back, your across measurement divided, your bust circumference rather, divided by 4 minus 1 inch. Okay, so when I do that, I should have about 10 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and connect with broken lines because it's not a permanent armhole, just broken lines, so that it will be easier for me to wipe out. Alright, so this is my armhole. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get my shoulder to my bust point, which is about 10.5, then to my under bust, which is 13.5, and the half length is about 17 inches. Then from there, I'm going to add 9 inches to whatsoever you have at the waistline, or you can go ahead and measure your hip, length of your hip. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and extend whatsoever I have here and label that. Alright, so after extending the line, the next thing is to get my corset length. So I'm going to measure 5 inches from the waistline. You can do between 4 to 5 inches, but I'm going with 5 inches for the length of my corset. So I'm going to go ahead and extend the line. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is to impute half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 3.5 inches. My nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So on this part, I'm going to mark 3.5. Then under bust line, I'm going to reduce it by 0.75 inches. Then on the hip line, I'm going to come in here by 1.25 inches because I want this sort of basque effect at the waistline, or you can just do it at the length of your corset, 1.25 inches. So I think this place is better. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the second leg, and we are using total of 2.5 inches for that. Then over here you can put 2 inches. Then you go ahead and connect the lines together. So I'm using this part of my curve because I want it a bit curvy. Then once you're done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to connect this part using a very nice curve. So that's all for that. Then for the over bust part, I'm going to get half of this my shoulder measurement and get a straight line from there to my bust point line. Okay, so this is where I have half of it. I'm going to connect it straight to my bust point line. Alright, once that is done, the next thing I'm going to do is to impute the circumference of my bust, exactly what I have on the chest line. That's my across front. So what I have here is about 10 inches. I'm going to impute 10 inches here. Then on this part, I'm going to come down by the difference between my front waistline and the back waistline. Go ahead and measure your client. Mine is about 1 inch. 1 inch. So I'm going to connect this 1 inch to the bust point. Right, so as soon as you're done with that, I'm going to go ahead and open up this part, then close up this part so we can see how wide this place is and tighten the over bust area. Okay, all right, so next is to tighten the bust area, the over bust area, and to do that I'm going to take 0.75 inches from this part, then take half inch from this side. So I took total of one, not up to 1.5, like 1.25 inches. So I'm going to replace that here. Then I'm going to reconnect this. So I'm going to take this straight to the bust point line. Then I'm going to connect this straight to the bust point line as well. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to finally impute my curve. Then the next thing I'm going to do, but before that, you can come in here. This is where it is supposed to be. So I'm going to come in here by 3 inches. Then from this part, I'm coming in by 1 inch in order to have that fitted area. So I'm going to connect it this way. So on this part, I'm going to insert my bust circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch. That's the across front measurement in order to align with this. So on the waistline, I'm going to impute my waist circumference divided by 4, which is about 8 inches, and we wish to reduce the waist from 32 to 28 inches. So we are reducing it by 4 inches. Okay, and we're going to divide it by by 2, 2 at the back and 2 at the front, then 1 for the left side and 1 inch for the right side. So we're working on one part of the front, meaning that we'll have just 1 inch on this part. Okay, so instead of marking, we have total of 2 inches here, like almost 2 inches here. So instead of marking 2 inches, I'm going to just replace it by 1.5 inches. So what is remains now is just half inch. Okay, so on my waistline, I'm going to mark my hip circumference. on the hip part, I'm going to mark my hip circumference divided by 4, which is about 10 inches. Then I'm going to take exactly what I have here, this 2 inches. I'm going to replace it here. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines together to see what we have. The next thing we are going to do is to get another dart here. So to do that, on this waist area, I'm going to get half of my waist measurement, like half of what I have here. So I'm going to mark. Then on this part, or you can mark on this part, you're going to measure like 2 inches. It depends on how basque you want it to be, okay? Like 2 inches is okay. Then on this part, you're going to come in here by 1.5 inches, or the distance between this point to this point, okay? So mine is 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines together. It may not really give you a straight line, but you just try and join it together like that. So on this part, I'm going to take that half inch that is remaining. I'm going to take 0.25 on both sides. This is 0.25 and this is 0.25. So I'm going to connect it all the way to the hip line. Alright, so as soon as we're done, the next thing is to get this conical effect on this blouse we are making. And to do that, we are going to come up here by 1.5 inches and we're going to be extending this. You can extend by 1.5 by 2 inches. It all depends on how curvy you want it. So I'm going to be extending it by 2 inches, okay? So I'm going to take my curve. Alright, so what we are going to do now is to get the shape of over bust corset, okay? And to do that, just determine how curvy you want your neckline to be, okay? So you can choose to take the distance between these 2 points and take it up. So what I have here is 3 inches, but if you want yours covered, you can use 3.5 inches depending on the distance between your bust point and your under bust point line. So but I'm going to add half inch to mine. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect it to this part, and to do that I'm coming up here by 2 inches. You can come down by less than that, or it depends on how curvy you want that area to be. Then I'm going to join it. Alright, so for your funnel corset, you need to apply wisdom. You need to know how deep you want the funnel to be, okay? So you can want it to start from your nipple point or a bit under your bust point line. It all depends on you. So I'm going to take it from this particular point, maybe 3.5 inches. What I have here is 3.5 inches, and I'm taking 3.5 inches. You can extend it to 4 inches. Look at what I measured. I measured 3.5 inches here, and what I have here is 3.5 inches. You can extend it to 4 inches. You can do between 3.5 to 4 inches depending on what you have here. You can add between half inch to 1 inch. It all depends on you. So once you are done with that, the next thing you are going to do is to make a curve, to connect this part. Okay, you can want it to be on your bust point line or a bit below your bust point line, so whichever way you want it. So I'm going to go ahead and connect first with my pen. Then if the outcome is okay, then I can consider using, okay, this is the 4 inches we marked earlier. So I'm going to come down maybe a little bit, like ½ inch from there. So I think I have, like, from here I have like more than ½ an inch. I have 0.75 inches below the bust point line. Just be creative about what you want. So I'm going to go ahead and use my red pen to mark on it. So when fixing it, you should know that it's like ½ inch above your over bust corset. All right. All right, so after that, the next thing we are going to do is to cut out what you have here. So I'm going to start cutting this out, but we are not cutting out everything entirely. All right, so after cutting it out, this is what I have. I didn't cut out everything. I'm going to I got another pattern paper, and I'm going to secure it. I'm going to pin it down in order to hold it firmly. Then I'm going to transfer it using this tracing wheel, making sure that my hands are straight. All right, so I have transferred all the lines. Let me unpin, then I'll show you what I've got there. All right, I'm sure you can't see it, but I can see it. I'm going to go ahead and make the lines visible. So let me go off camera and complete the rest. All right, so after transferring the pattern, this is what it looks like, and this is what the original looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the area where we don't need, so you can see how I'm going to do it. Okay, so I'm going to start from this particular one. So I'm going to cut out the yoke first. All right, so these are the two yokes. So I'm going to go ahead and this is the line we're using. This, I'm supposed to cut out this part, but on this part I'll apply gum and fix these two together. So you can reconnect these 2 points to make sure that they are equal, and you go ahead and cut out the excess. So we have succeeded in getting the yoke, and we are going to keep it aside. So the next thing I'm going to do is to work on this particular part. So to do that, I'm going to just cut out this. All right, so this is the overbust part of it. So I'm going to label it so that this is the overbust, 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 the overbust corset, and this is the 3 parts we need for it. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this particular one, and as you can see, these 2 parts are the same thing, exactly the same thing. The only difference is this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out, then we go over to the back pattern. All right, so this is the funnel corset, and this is the overbust corset. All right, so to start with, I have my borderline, and on the borderline I'm going to impute my neck width measurement. This is my neck width measurement, and the neck depth we're using is just 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and make a curve there. All right, so after making a curve, I'm going to take my shoulder measurement divided by 2, then From there, I'm coming down by 1 inch, just like we did to the front bodies. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect it like so. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to divide my bust circumference by 6 and add 1.5 inches to it, and this is what I have. And on this part, I'm going to retake what I have on my shoulder measurement. Then I'm going to impute half of my bust circumference divided by 4 minus 1 inch. So this is what we have. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines together. So after connecting it, I'm going to just go ahead and make a very nice curve. You can make a very nice curve over here. Then once you are done with that, this becomes our chest line. You can go ahead and rule to extend this line. So what you're going to do is to get your waist measurement, your back waist measurement. Just like I told you, my back waist measurement is 1 inch shorter than that of the front. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. So from this my waistline, I'm going to extend this line. So after extending it, I'm going to get the corset length, which is about 5 inches, and my hip length, which is about 9 inches from my waistline. So I'm going to mark 5 inches here and 9. This is 5 inches and 9 inches for my hip line. Then I'm going to extend the line. Alright, so once we are done, the next thing I'm going to do is to determine how open I want the back to be. So on this part, I'm going with maybe 1.5 inches or 2 inches, depending on how wide you want your back to reveal. Okay, so I'm going with 2 inches on this part, and on the hemline, I think, which is this my corset line, I'm going with 1 inch because I want a bit of V neck, V design over there. So you can go ahead and connect it. Alright, so once that is done, the next thing I'm going to do is to impute my weight. This is still part of our measurement, okay? So I'm going to impute my waist measurement, and my waist measurement is 8 inches, and at the end of the day, we wish to reduce it to 7 inches. Okay, so that's it. Then on my hip line, I'm going to get my hip circumference divided by 4. Then I'm going to just go ahead and connect the lines together like so. Okay, so I'm going to divide this line into like 2. So what we have here is about 6.5, and I'm going to have like 2 lines here. I have 2 inches here and I have 2 inches here. Then at this top area, what we have is about 7.5. I'm going to also divide it. Then I'm going to go ahead and make a straight line all the way to the hemline. So in order to snatch our waist, we are going to remove total of 1 inch from this part of the back. Then on the other part of the back, this is the right side. On the left side, we are going to remove 1 inch, making it total of 2 inch. So that's 1 inch. We are taking total of half inch on this side and half inch on this side. So I'm going to take 0.25 inches here and 0.25 inches here, and on this side I'm going to also do the same thing, 0.25 inches and 0.25 inches here. So that's what we have, and I'm going to connect it all the way to the top. Then as soon as you're done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to create a style for the neckline. So to do that is just very simple. Just take your curve and place it however you want it to be. You know, if you want a wider back, you can go ahead and just express yourself. And basically this is the back part of our corset. And you know that we came in here by 1.5 inches, and on this part we also went out by 1.5 inches. So it's advisable you get this part of your corset. Okay, this is the part of your corset. Then use it and trace out what you have here so as to be on the safe side. So I'm going to trace it out like so. So basically that is what we have. You can reduce the back half length, the back length of your corset, or you can leave it like that. So without wasting much time, let me go ahead and cut out this and I'll get back to you. Alright, so after cutting out the back, this is what we have. And just go ahead and label. This is the center back, this is the middle back, and this is the side back. So on this part we are going to have eyelets. We're going to have eyelet over here. Then on this part you just get the midpoint of this. Just get the midpoint. Then you can take like half inch or quarter inch and just fold it a bit, but this armhole line should not be affected. Okay, then you recurve it. Okay, so I think this is okay. Alright, so after cutting out everything, this is what it looks like. Now if you want to have your front shoulder and your back shoulder cut together, this is what you do. Get the two pieces together and gum or tape the two pieces together, then take it on your pattern and you cut out exactly what you have. I'm going to glue these two ends together. So once you're done, just go ahead and cut it out as one piece, and that's okay. And thank you very much for watching these tutorials. Alright, so if you're interested in learning how to sew exactly this, then I have a WhatsApp training coming up very soon, though it's not for free, so you can feel free to join. So I'll teach you how to join the yoke to the bodies. I'll teach you how you can add your boning and how to achieve neat finishing of this. So I'll leave the link in the comment section so you can join. All right, so thank you very much for watching this. If you find it helpful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. See you in my next training. Bye.